used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now today we will add one more figure from the DC versus Vampires subline. Now we have received a couple of these figures before, but this time it is going to be the Green Lantern version. Now when this was first shown at one of the cons, people were trying to figure out what exactly this was because we couldn't really get a clear idea. But now that we have it in hand, we could check it out and see if it's a pretty cool figure and if it's worth adding to the collection. Now, I'm actually pretty interested to get into this one. I'd want to see the differences and any cool additions I could add. I did pick this up at Wallace World. I found two of them. I did buy both, one to open up and review, and one to keep in box in my mint inbox collection. Now, he does look pretty freaky in the packaging, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now, this is another time when maybe McFarlane could have added a flight stand, but this guy does have some accessories and a pretty intricate head sculpt. So, and besides that, I do have hundreds of flight stands and I basically do not use them. So it's no big deal to me, but I do know that people would probably prefer a flight stand. He also comes with his data file card on the front. We have a pretty interesting image there of Green Lantern vampirized from the comics. I think this is another time where Green Lantern is a vampire minimally in the comics, but there is a cover that has an image, and McFarlane is the master of taking characters that only have one panel or a cover and making them into action figure form. So can respect that. Pretty cool image. On the back, you do have a read up on Hal Jordan. So pretty much basically nothing interesting there. Now he does have some accessories. He has one sort of energy flame effect that goes on his hand. Now this one's pretty cool because actually it's pretty simple to put on. Sometimes these effects could be kind of a challenge to get looking right, but for once this one you could pretty much tell it has kind of the form of the claw hands and it just slips right on. So that's cool. Now you also have this awesome effect that actually goes on his back. Now it's both of these are made from clear plastic, translucent, and this one actually has a peg that pegs into the hole from the original release of Hal Jordan. Now, basically, that's another thing we need to get out of the way is that this is just a reuse from the body. So all you're getting is this head sculpt, the hands, a repainted body, which is pretty cool, and some cool effects for figure photography. Now, I couldn't really decide what I preferred, him with the flame effect or without it, but you could go either way. It's basically your preference, what you think he looks like better. So now that we got all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a more detailed look at him. First impressions, what I do like is that they actually made the whole body a different shade of green, whereas the first Hal Jordan release was black and green. This one is a green with like a sort of dark, I want to say like sort of like seaweed where or what's it called, nori, where it's black but it has a shimmer of green in there that you can actually see. Now I'm not expecting too much from this figure, just add him to the vampire collection, but we will see what kind of fun we could have with him. And basically if we see anything that surprises me that I really like about this figure. But first impressions, vampirized version of Hal Jordan. Cool. Let's take a look at the head sculpt. Now I really like the head sculpt. He has that open vampiric mouth, really nice paint detail and shading. You got tons of different little colors from grays to green, a little bit of red, and some dark shadows. So it's a nice head sculpt. What I really like is the way that they incorporated the translucent plastic onto the head sculpt to make that hair look really nice and give it a cool vibrance that you wouldn't get with just a painted green hair. This one looks really cool. It's really well done and gives them a little bit of something special that we don't really see every time from McFarlane. So really digging the head sculpt. I like that. Check out the articulation. Does look down really well. Up, even better. You got side to side. And of course, you could tilt his head for some character. Now, I won't go too much into the articulation because this is just a basic reuse from the original Hal Jordan. So, but if I see anything interesting, I'll point it out. You got, same arm articulation. They did a really good job of making it smooth to where the bushings even move around a lot. And one thing I do notice is that they added the black accent paint that they actually omitted from the first Hal Jordan. Now I do have them up here. This is actually my customized Hal Jordan. I'm still working on him, but I shortened the arms and changed the hands out, added a ring to a different fist just to make it look a lot nicer. But I do want to paint it. I'm going to paint it sort of this metallic green. This is the sort of clear plastic lantern that came with the McFarlane figure, but I've already practiced on this, painting it metallic green. So I'm going to want to do that to this Hal Jordan. But if you put these two together, you can actually see how they added that little pattern under the arm where I did it on mine. And also you could see kind of the different tone where the Hal Jordan is more of a grayish black. This one is more of a greenish black. It has that hint of green in it. Now you do have different hand sculpts here. These are more, taloned and a little bit longer, which actually fit well with the arms. That was a big negative that a lot of people had on the first release, was the length of the arms. But what these hands do is actually mask that a little bit. And, he's supposed to look creepy and lanky, so it kind of works for this vampirized Hal Jordan. So I really like the hands. They did them really well, executed nicely. Another problem from the first release was that the ball joints really stuck out. And this time they have actually managed to hide them really well, which probably shortened the arms a little. So it looks a little bit more proportioned in a weird way because it is exactly the same body, unless they made the arms shorter, which I doubt. Now, another thing I did notice is the articulation is really smooth, even at the waist. I mean, the first one was fine, but this one, they just executed a lot better. He even has a crazy crunch where he crunches really forward. So putting all the articulation together, you could get him in some cool flight poses, get him in some battle stances to make him look cool. So he's a lot of fun in that aspect of, just a reused body, but he is pretty fun. Just really quick, yeah, he does have nice thigh swivel, which of course means you could move the boot and the leg from side to side without a thigh cut, and it's really smooth. So I'm actually really happy with this one. I'm having a lot of fun posing him. Easy to pose. Let's see how easy he is to stand. Look at that, stands perfectly. So no real big complaints besides the fact that it's just a reused, body, but it does match up to build our undead vampire army, which is awesome. Now, as I said, you can easily, put the effects on. This one's pretty simple. You can actually fit easily the shape into the hand, so you know how to put it on. And then this one is simple as well. It just pops on. And once you could stick in the plug, you got it on there right. So that's another look for him that looks really good as well. Oh, a lot of fun with this guy. Now, one thing I did want to do, let me bring out the rest of the vampire army that we've assembled so far, just so I could talk about something else, and that is First, we're going to bring out the Vampire Batman. I actually like this figure. I like the color that they chose to do his suit in, which is sort of like a bronzish brown, pretty interesting. Then we have the Joker. Of course, he came with his mallet, which is actually right here. And then we have the Superman version. Now, why I wanted to show these was because I actually redid them all with blood. So I added a little bit of blood on all their mouths, on the hands. Of course, the Superman came with just regular painted hands. He had no blood accent to him. So I wanted to add that to make them mesh together a little bit better. So I added blood to the face of the Joker and the hands. Also to the Vampire Batman, I added it to the mouth, just where I thought it made it look a little bit better. So each one of these, I added a little bit more blood just to spice it up a little bit. So that is what I actually did also to this Green Lantern. And actually with the white gloves and gauntlets, it really pops. It stands out really well, and it just makes him seem a little bit more creepier and devilish by having that blood splatter. I know McFarlane tries to keep the blood down a little bit. You know, these are on your mass market toy shelves. So I'm pretty sure there's probably a limit of how much blood they could use and how much it actually stands out on the shelf. So I redid mine. Looks really awesome. I'm happy with them. I mean, it doesn't blow me away or anything like that, but it's also not a bad figure. And if you're gonna build a vampire army, he's a awesome addition to the collection. Now they have, rumored that there's going to be Damian Wayne, so pretty cool, pretty interesting. That's another one to add. Maybe eventually we'll get other characters like Wonder Woman and the Flash, so that'll be pretty sweet. Cool figure. He's gonna look awesome on the shelf with his vampire brothers. But anyways, you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
But you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting,